You ever catch yourself doing something completely normal, at least to you, and then notice a civilian just staring at you like you just landed from maybe another planet? Maybe you inhaled an entire meal in 90 seconds while your wife is still unfolding her napkin. Maybe you walked into a restaurant, immediately rejected the first table, and asked for something with a better sight line. Maybe you accidentally called your boss sir, and he looked at you like you were mocking him. These aren't personality quirks. These can be symptoms of a condition that affects roughly 17 million Americans. It's called being a veteran. And here's the thing nobody tells you when you enlist or become an officer. The military doesn't just train you, it rewires your brain. Studies show it takes an average of 21 days to form a new habit. You know how long basic training is? 10 weeks for most people, and that's just the beginning. By the time you've done a few years, a few deployments, certain behaviors aren't habits anymore. They're just firmware in your head. They're baked into your operating system, and no amount of DD-214 paperwork is going to uninstall them. I'm going to go through the 11 habits that you probably picked up in the military that you probably will have for the rest of your life. And that civilians, well, they're never ever going to understand. So habit number 1 is you eat like someone's about to take your food away. Because at some point, someone was about to take your food away. I remember my first meal at basic. I had just sat down, arranged my food like a normal human being, and was reaching for my fork when the drill sergeant started screaming that we had 3 minutes. 3 minutes? At that point, I hadn't even figured out what the mystery meat was yet. By week 2, I could clear a tray faster than most people could even say grace. Chewing became optional. Tasting became a luxury. The goal was volume and speed. And you know what I'm talking about. And here's the thing, that never goes away. My wife has learned not to ask me questions during meals because by the time she finishes her sentence, I've usually finished my entire plate. I have tried to slow down in her defense. I've tried mindful eating. I've tried putting my fork down between bites. It just doesn't work. The second food hits the table, somewhere in my brain, a drill sergeant screams, 3 minutes, and my body it just goes. And the worst part, I judge slow eaters now. Someone taking 45 minutes to eat a sandwich? What is this, a vacation? We have things to do. If you eat like you're being timed, congratulations. You're one of us. Now, habit number 2, you could not sit with your back to the door. I call this tactical seating. My wife calls it annoying. Well, we'll walk into a restaurant. The hostess will gesture toward a perfectly nice table in the middle of the room. And I'll just stand there, frozen, just kind of scanning. Actually, can we get that booth in the corner? Why? Because that table in the middle has sightlines from 3 entry points, 0 cover, and positions me directly in the path between the kitchen and the front door. What am I expecting? An ambush at Applebee's? A coordinated assault during happy hour? I mean, logically, I know this is ridiculous. Emotionally, I'm not sitting with my back to that door. And I know I'm not alone. I've watched veterans do the restaurant shuffle, that awkward dance where 2 vets both want the seat facing the room and neither wants to admit why. Now, eventually, one of us takes the hit and sits facing the wall, but we're not happy about it. We're just checking the reflection in the window the entire meal. Now, my civilian friends, they think this is just paranoia. I prefer to call it environmental awareness, and it's not a disorder, it's a feature of my personality. Habit number 3, you are physically incapable of being on time because being on time is late, and late is unacceptable. I mean, in the military, when you'd have a time, like be it formation at 0600, you would want to show up 10 minutes early to that. Well, most people would want to show up 10 minutes early to the 10-minute early thing. So by the time that actual 0600 rolls around, you'd already been standing there for 20 to 30 minutes. This also ruins you for civilian time. I showed up to a dinner party recently 30 minutes early. The host answered the door, I think maybe still in their bathrobe, hadn't even started cooking yet. They looked at me like I'd broken into their house. So I just sat in my car for 25 minutes pretending to check emails because being fashionably late feels morally wrong to me. My wife has learned to lie to me about start time. She'll tell me dinner reservations are at 7:30 when they're actually at 7. It's the only way we arrive like normal people. If you ever shown up to a party while they're still setting up chairs, you're probably a veteran, or you have a deeply concerning need for control. Either, well, Either way, welcome to the club. Now, habit number 4, you spell everything like you're calling in a medevac. Can I get the last name? Yeah, last name Bahr, Bravo Alpha Hotel Romeo. And then there's silence because the barista at Starbucks was not expecting tactical communications. She just wanted to write a name on a cup. I don't even think about it anymore. Someone asks me to spell something, and my brain automatically goes back to the NATO phonetic alphabet. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. It's just how letters work in my head now. The problem is when I slip up and use the wrong phonetic alphabet, because there's the official one, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and then there's the one you or your platoon or someone made up because someone thought it was funny. Last name Bahr, B, as in, actually, let me just spell it normally, because nobody needs to hear what B stood for in my platoon. Now, if you've ever confused a customer service rep by phonetically spelling your email address like you're coordinating close air support, you're not crazy. You're just trained as a veteran. Now, habit number 5, you can fall asleep anywhere, instantly, under any condition. This is your superpower. And like all superpowers, it comes from trauma. When you've slept in a guard tower, in the rain, on a concrete floor, in full kit, sitting upright on a C-130 with your knees in your chest for 8 hours, a comfortable bed becomes a luxury you don't actually need anymore. I have fallen asleep at concerts. I've fallen asleep standing up. I have fallen asleep in a folding metal chair at a kid's birthday party while 15 screaming children ran circles around me. My wife is jealous. She needs white noise, blackout curtains, the perfect temperature, 2 pillows arranged just right. I need approximately nothing. Just eyes closed, brain off, and I'm gone. The flip side, waking up at 0500 every single day, regardless of what time you went to bed, well, my body doesn't care that it's a Saturday. My body doesn't care that I was up until 2 a.m. Once 05 hits, I'm awake against my will. This is not discipline, it's just programming, and there is no off switch. So if you can fall asleep on a pile of gravel, but you can't sleep past sunrise no matter how hard you try, welcome to the veteran sleep schedule. It's efficient, but it's forever. Now, habit number 6, you drink water like your life depends on it, because at some point you were told it did. Hydrate or die, drink water, face out, change your socks and drink water. I don't know how many times I heard that phrase, but it works. I was also a medic, so I think I used that phrase. It's been 15 years since my last deployment. I still carry a water bottle everywhere I go. I still judge people who don't. Oh, you're drinking soda? In this heat, you're going to be a heat casualty. You're going to fall out. What's your water source? I've caught myself telling my kids to hydrate like I'm preparing them for a 12-mile ruck march. Drink your water before you're thirsty. You should be peeing clear. My 8-year-old does not need to know about urine clarity metrics, but here we are. The military convinced me that dehydration was hiding around every corner, waiting to strike, and I will believe that until I die of natural causes because I stay hydrated. Now, habit number 7, your sense of humor makes civilians probably deeply uncomfortable. This one's hard to explain to people who weren't there. When you've been in situations that are so absurd, so stressful, so genuinely dangerous that the only response is to laugh, you develop a certain flavor of humor. It's dark, it's likely inappropriate, it's how you survived and coped. I have been at civilian parties where someone makes a mildly edgy joke and everyone gasps. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, that's just the opening act. Where's the punchline? The problem is calibration. What's funny in a tent with your squad after a 48-hour mission doesn't necessarily land at your neighbor's barbecue. I've learned to read the room, mostly. But every now and then something slips out, and I watch the faces around me go from ha 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 to, ooh, should we be concerned about this gentleman? My wife has a signal now, so when I'm about to tell a story that's going to clear the room, she touches my arm, maybe save that one. She saved me from entire dinner parties before. Now, if your friends from the military make you laugh so hard you cry, but your civilian friends make you explain your jokes 3 times before they nervously change the subject, you've got the humor. It's not a bug. It's a feature of being a veteran. Just maybe keep it internal at work functions. Now, habit number 8, You pack for every contingency like you're deploying to an unknown planet. It's a weekend trip, right? So I need 3 changes of clothes, backup socks, a rain layer, a base layer, a med kit, 2 flashlights, 3 knives, and snacks. My wife packed a purse for a weekend trip once. A purse. I was genuinely concerned for her survival. The military trained me to anticipate every possible scenario and prepare accordingly. What if it rains? What if it's cold out? What if we get stuck? What if there's a medical emergency? What if we need shelter in place for 72 hours? We're going to my in-laws' house in Ohio, 2 hours away. But still, I've never once regretted overpacking. But I have judged every underpacked person I've ever met. Oh, you didn't bring a backup phone charger. Bold choice. If your trunk looks like a survival kit and your go bag is always packed, congratulations. You're prepared for things that will statistically never happen, but you'll be ready. Now, habit number 9, you call everyone sir and ma'am and cannot stop. This one sometimes gets me in trouble. I called my doctor sir so many times he finally asked if I was military. I called a cashier ma'am and she said, hey, I'm 22. You're older enough to be my dad. I called my Uber driver sir and he looked at me like I was from the 1800s. I mean, it's not conscious, it's not choice. It's just how my mouth works now. The military spent years drilling respect into every interaction. You address people properly, period. And now, many years later, I can't have a conversation without sir and ma'am flying out automatically. Some people love it. Oh, how polite you are. Some people hate it. Don't call me ma'am. I'm not that old. But here's the thing. I'm not calling you ma'am because you're old. I'm calling you ma'am because a drill sergeant literally screamed at me in 2004 and my brain never recovered. You can ask me to stop. I will try, but I will fail. I will call you ma'am again within 30 seconds. Again, it's not respect. It is reflexive and I think it's permanent, right? So habit number 10, you cannot watch military movies without providing, what we call unsolicited commentary. Oh, that's not how you hold that. Oh, that uniform is wrong. That's not what a grenade sounds like. Why is his hat on indoors? I have ruined so many movie nights. My wife, my friends make me watch a military movie once. I won't name it, what that movie was. And I think I interrupted 47 times. By the end, they said, I don't care if it's accurate. We just want to enjoy the movie. But I can't enjoy it. My brain won't let me. I see a rank insignia in the wrong spot and I'm pulled completely out of the story. And don't get me started on the tactics. Why would you bunch up like that at the door? Spread out. One grenade would... It's just a movie, Marshall. It's a wrong movie, but if you've ever yelled at a TV screen about trigger discipline, you're not being critical. You're being accurate, and Hollywood should frankly thank you for the notes. Now look, these habits might seem strange to civilians, but they're not random. Every single one comes from somewhere. Training that kept you alive, experiences that rewired your brain, years of doing things a certain way until there was no other way. Some of these, yes, they are funny. Some of these are less funny when you think about where they came from, but all of them are proof that the military doesn't just give you a job. It gives you a second operating system that runs in the background forever. So if you recognize yourself in this video, you're not weird. You're just programmed and you're a veteran. We all are. I am Dr. Marshall Bahr. I'm an actual doctor. I'm an Army Ranger, a former CMP examiner, and a veteran who still eats too fast, sits with his back to the wall, and arrives everywhere 30 minutes early. If you've got military habits I didn't cover, well, drop them in the comments. I want to hear the weird ones. And subscribe if you want more content from someone who actually gets it. And if any of these habits are affecting your daily life in the way that aren't funny, if the hypervigilance keeps you up at night, if the dark humor is covering something deeper, that's worth talking to someone about. And yeah, that might be a ratable service-connected condition. If you're interested in finding out more, the links are in the description if you want to talk. I'll see you in the next video, and until next time, stay mission ready.